the guitarist perspectives means to actually accompany both the singer and the dancer at the same time. So the guitarist has to be adept at both percussion and melody. I would like to ask Gary if there are similarities and differences between Solea, Solea Por Bulerías, and Bulerías.
Soleá is slower than either of the other two. It's probably a little bit more serious, well, definitely more serious than Bulería. Although the letras can be serious in Bulería too. But the musically, Soleá sounds much slower and so forth. So the compás is the same, except that in Bulerías you can do half compasses, whereas in Soleá or Solea Por Bulerías you cannot do half compasses. Everything has to stay in 12.
A full 12.
Has to stay in 12. From a guitarist perspective, the Soleá, the preferred key is E, for E Phrygian. So 9, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be your basic sound.
And 11, 12,
Right.
1,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Now, that's what we like, and especially if we're playing if there's a dancer involved as well, we really want to do it in that key. So right now I'm in on the 4th fret in playing an E, so I'm in A flat. But say your singer's key is say your singer sings in D,
Uh-oh.
Now, to play an E, to play in this preferred key, I would have to put the capo here,
That's what we fight.
which I would
really?
have no room to do anything.
Yeah, that's nose pick position in violin.
So I would at that point I would have to relent, and I would have to go and play. If I'm going to play in D, I'd have to move this here on the 5th fret and play por medio, what we call por medio, or an A, Soleá, which sometimes you have to do. But really for dancing, it's really
Weird.
it's really kind of weird in a way. It just doesn't sound like Soleá, and the
Let's hear some.
falsettas and everything. So if I was playing Soleá in this key, it would be.
And I can't sing Solea Por Bulerías, but for baile it doesn't work.
Oh, really?
See, this would be Soleá.
Or Solea.
So that's very different from the other sounds.
Yeah, right.
And plus most guitarists have all their baile falsettas in E, in that key.
So then, is there a preference between accompanying men or women? If women sing super high,
Well, you're more likely to have to play por medio with a woman singer. Although, even for a woman singer, I mean, I would go as far as 7 or even 8 to, for example, La Fernanda de Utrera. Some people would accompany her here, which is the preferred Soleá key for me, for most people. Some people, like, there was a famous guitarist called Juan Maya Morote from Granada. He accompanied her here. He would play an E. But other guitarists would accompany her and they would play an A on the 2nd fret, right? Which would be the same key. So that's Soleá. Now, Solea Por Bulerías is a little faster, slightly more syncopated. They call it Solea Por Bulerías. Something that has a lot of people say Bulerías por Soleá. They say it the other way around. But anyway, the preferred key for that is por medio.
really?
The other way,
Yeah,
the other way. Because,
I've learned a lot.
but again, so the sound that really sounds like Solea Por Bulerías is in A. In por medio, it's not. sometimes you have a singer that is not going to allow you to play in this in A. So you're going to have to play Solea Por Bulerías in E. But then it kind of almost loses a bit of the flavor of Solea Por Bulerías.
Yeah.
So. So those are the preferred keys, but sometimes you have to go the other way. And then Bulería, the same thing. So depending on the singer, sometimes you have to play por medio, sometimes you have to play por arriba. And
But does it make
Bulería,
as much of a difference though for Bulería?
in Bulería, it's less of a preference. I would say, you know, although I still say the preference for Bulería would be A. But it's not as big of a jump to play an E in Bulería. So A would be. And in E you would have.
That sounds a bit different.
Pero hay otros cantadores que cantan por ahí.
Yeah, sometimes you have to play it here. So those are the main differences, I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I've been dancing for more than 2 decades and I didn't know that, so that's a cool lesson. Well, which came first, Solea or Bulería?
Most people would say, well, almost everyone. I don't know if anyone would disagree, but I think the Soleá is first, and then the Bulería was basically like Soleá sped up. Somebody one day drank a lot of coffee or something. Loco
El Loco
Mateo.
Mateo.
Yeah, the person that's credited usually with the inventing the Bulería is Crazy Matthew, El Loco Mateo, from Jerez, singer from Jerez. Another difference I would say between Solea Por Bulerías and Soleá is the cambio. What we call the cambio is the second line of the poetry. Where, you know, you're doing the first line, whatever. And then you come to the second line of poetry and it always goes on 7/8. We call that the cambio. Can you sing something just to show that?
¿Cuál?
Any letter, because they all cambio.
For Solea?
¿Solea?
So yeah,
Okay, so what table are we on now for Jafelin?
I'm putting it on 7.
And are we por medio or arriba?
Por arriba.
Okay.
So in the second line of the cante, you listen for this change. 7/8.
Si yo pudiera, ay, tirando a la avenida fría con los arroyuelos.
so that's a Soleá, and the cambio invariably, or very nearly invariably, will be on 7, 8, 9, 10. That sound. Now, you have the same cambio, I mean the letras too. You use
Yeah,
some of the same
why.
the same letras in Solea Por Bulerías. Sometimes as can be used in both, right?
Yes, exactly.
But-
That's what I'm gonna say.
But sometimes, because it's a faster rhythm, Solea Por Bulerías is faster, sometimes they carry over the line into a second compass. They don't cram the whole line into one compass, or the whole half line. And then, so the cambio ends up coming on 3
Oh,
of the next compass.